Good morning. We are so excited to have the opportunity to hear from three amazing business owners and leaders. It's an honor to have all three of you here with us today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Great to be here.
Thank you. Before we talk business strategy, first, tell us a little bit about your business. What makes it unique? How have you had to change this year? Yvette, let's start with you.
Love Travels Imports. We ethically produce, curate, and retail women's accessories, home decor, and gift items. And we have a retail location in a commercial district. And we had to really change the mix of things because typically I travel and go to locations, but that's not happening. So we had to figure out some other ways using technology and other strategies to keep working with our customers.
Hadley, how about you?
Well, I'm the co-owner and founder of the Urban Grape along with my husband, TJ. And we are really known, we're a full service wine, liquor, spirits and beer store in Boston. And we love to work and hand sell to our customers. So we have had to have a huge pivot this year because the entire basis of our store is working one-on-one with our customers and educating them about the wine and other products that they'll be buying. So we have had to totally reimagine our business, move everything online, move everything virtual, and find really creative ways to replicate the concierge style selling online, which has been interesting.
I'm sure it has. Joel, how about Kodiak cakes?
Yeah, so Kodiak cakes we're a food brand, and we're mostly known as pancake and waffle mix. We sell in grocery stores all over the place, and we're in a lot of other categories across the grocery store as well, like frozen waffles and stuff like that. But what we do at Kodiak cakes is we outsource our production, and so we work with other partners to manufacture all of our products. And so our operation ourselves is, we're an office where we focus on selling and marketing. And, we have about 70 people at our office here in Park City, Utah. And so we suddenly had to just like so many people just suddenly had to work from home overnight and figure that out. I think one thing that helped us was that we were, we don't have manufacturing. So we were able to adapt pretty well, but then, just working with our manufacturing partners who had to keep having people going in and working on those lines. So it's been an interesting year, but I think overall we kind of learned how to adapt pretty well.
Absolutely. So it has been a year full of unknowns. I'm going to start our conversation around adjustments you've made and lessons you've learned that will carry you forward. So Joel, your products, as you mentioned, are found in grocery stores across the country, and your business has really picked up this year. You mentioned working remotely. I'm curious to know how you've guided your team through such a busy time, but also being able to work remotely.
Yeah. So I think, we in some ways we're on kind of a good side of this, and because some businesses got busier. We got busier, like pancake mix category and baking mix category in the grocery stores got really busy. People are at home, eating at home more. And so what it did is it put this incredible amount of pressure on demand, which was really hard. And so suddenly we had to go home. Everyone had to suddenly work from home. And then we got hit with all this incredible demand for product. And so that was really hard. I think a couple of things that we did that I think really worked, and I would say a couple of things that we had in place already that helped us. And one of them was we have a really good accountability and reporting structure in place at Kodiak Cake. So what I mean by that is everybody in the company has really clear goals and expectations set for them and how they roll up to the overall company goals. And then it's like a cadence of weekly meetings with your direct reports, right? Or with your manager on direct reports. And that helped a lot because it helped the team stay connected. And knowing that everybody had their own goals already, we didn't have to worry so much about, well, are people working if they're home? It's like, no, you don't really have to worry so much about that if you've got clear goals set and a great accountability and check-in structure. And then you kind of, if you're getting everything done. So that helped a lot. And then I think just our culture was set up in a way that really helped in this environment, because it's a very empowered culture, very collaborative culture. And so people were already like from the beginning, they were talking to each other, like, how can I help you? And not afraid to get on the phone or get on Zoom and just call and communicate. I'd say the last thing we did was, I think when we first went home, we were like, man, should we continue to have our Monday morning company-wide meetings? Because no one's around. And we immediately thought, no, we have to have those. This is more important than ever. So communication and connection is key. So we kept those meetings going, so everybody felt super connected to the business, and we just adapted. We kept our trainings going, and just kept things going, but over Zoom. But the more you connect, then the better off people feel, the more secure they feel.
Absolutely, thank you. Hadley, at the Urban Grape, you built a whole new operation around virtual events. Tell us about developing that new offering. How have you made it work? But do you also see virtual events here to stay?
It's a great question. And I think it's something everyone in business needs to be thinking about, is not only how to survive right now, but what will we be moving forward at the end of this pandemic, and what new and innovative ideas can we bring into our businesses. So we have within the Urban Grape a sub-business called Urban Affairs, which is a very robust wine tasting event program. And around March 13th or 14th, we saw our entire book evaporate, all of our booked events, within about 12 hours. So everyone was asking for refunds and canceling. And we were just totally shocked. A huge revenue source had dried up literally in a day. So we took a few weeks, actually. We got our store online. We figured out how to service people in terms of getting them their wine. And then we said, okay, this is a huge part of our company and our culture, and we have to bring this back. So we moved absolutely everything online. We started developing packages for virtual tastings, and started going back to all of our old customers and saying, just because you guys are all at home and not, in a space together doesn't mean that you can't still be enjoying wine tastings. And started going to college alumni groups, and even families that were spread out and couldn't get together were coming to us for virtual wine tastings. And it's been a huge revenue stream for us, one that developed very quickly, and one that we will absolutely keep after the pandemic, because I think that in so many ways, life has changed and business has changed, and people are realizing that there are ways to gather that don't require everyone being in the same room. And I just don't see that going away anytime soon.
I love that shift that you made. Being able to adapt to our environment, that's amazing. Yvette, you've also begun using technology by connecting digitally with both suppliers as well as shoppers alike. In the process, you have developed some amazing relationships. How important are these partnerships to you, and how do you see it now versus in the future?
Relationships were always important, and telling stories was always important. What has happened now in terms of the partnerships, we have deepened our engagement and relationship, I think, with both our customers and our partners. Like, for example, I can't get on a plane and travel to a location and then interact personally. So what I've done, WhatsApp has been a real friend of mine, if you will. I can communicate in real time with the small producers that I engage with. I can, of course, through email, that relationship. One of the things that we've started is an Instagram live series where we have a little more of an in-depth conversation, probably about 25 or 30 minutes with a specific producer group and artisan group. And we were able to really make that connection. And I think people like that, because people tend to like to do business with people they like, they care about. And so understanding those stories and actually seeing the impact in real time, I think has made a difference. We had to pivot. We're a retail location in addition to online. So with the pandemic, everything shut down. We had a number of events planned. We had ramped up inventory. And so, but everything stopped on a dime. And we had to quickly innovate and pivot. And in communicating with our artisans, we could no longer, for example, have hand-painted scarves. So we did hand-painted face masks. And because they are small producers, we were able to be flexible, and we could test something out really quickly in real time. And if it worked, great. If it didn't, then we could move on to something different. And so we really, the thing that helped us during this time period was creating unique face masks and lavender products, things to help people relax. And so we're going to continue with the packages that we created. We're going to continue with telling the stories. And I think that because we were going through this at the same time as our producers, like, for example, in Guatemala, they shut everything down there as well. And so, you know, this was a real important thing to do for the livelihoods of the artisans we work with, in addition to, you know, our livelihood here. So we'll keep doing this. It's made a tighter bond.
Yeah, it sounds like those relationships are amazing, and that those that you work with have been able to adapt with you. That adaptation, I hear from all of you, really speaks to the leadership skills you've had and the way that you've been able to kind of lead your team over the past several months. So let's maybe shift a little bit into lessons in leadership. Obviously, this year it's tested entrepreneurs' leadership skills that we've developed over the years, but we will also have to keep continuing to develop those skills long after COVID is gone. I'd love to talk a little bit about leadership strategies that you have as a business owner. And maybe Hadley, I'll start with you. One of the core missions you have of your business is to open wine to a more diverse audience, but you've said in the past that it starts with building a diverse team. So as you approach this work, what advice do you have for other business owners that are looking to do the same thing?
Absolutely. Well, building a diverse and inclusive team has always been a core tenet of the Urban Grape. My husband and I are an interracial couple, and we need to see ourselves represented in our own small business. But being in the wine industry, which is a historically very, very white industry, and then in Boston on top of that, it's been difficult for us to build the type of racially diverse team that we have always wanted to. We have always employed so many women. Our customer base is very diverse, I think, because of the way that we lead the company. But we weren't seeing that reflected necessarily in our team. And sort of crazy to take on this huge initiative at this moment in time. But the support of our business through the pandemic and also through the Black Lives Matter movement has been so incredible that we were actually able to fulfill a longstanding dream of ours, which was to start a scholarship award program to help diversify the wine industry in Boston. So this summer, actually, we were able to start the Urban Grape Wine Studies Award for students of color. We've raised $160,000 to endow a fund at Boston University, who's our partner in this program. And we have our first 2 award recipients who are starting this fall, 2 amazing Black women who have been able to, who have long dreamed of a career in the wine industry and are now able to have this opportunity. They're getting a full wine education, 3 internships on 3 different sides of the business, and also mentorship from Masters of Wine and Master Sommeliers. So I think that what is really important is, even when we are in the middle of a pandemic, to not forget what your values and goals are as a business, because quite honestly, they create so much customer loyalty, and they really help your business to keep its focus in a time when there's so much going on around it.
I love that, Hadley. Thank you. All right, Joel, you've been in business for many years and you've stuck to your core company values throughout, even when it probably would have been a little bit easier to take a different direction. How has the strategy served you, and how would you advise others who are also facing the same kind of decision?
Yeah, because I think sometimes you get tempted to go a different way, right? And sometimes, and that's different than adapting. We all have to adapt, because we heard that from these from the rest of the panelists here. Like we have to all do that, but what you have to be really careful about is not to dilute your brand and your positioning. And so I think early on we were tempted by that. When it was taking us forever to get this little pancake business off the ground, and our whole brand positioning was around whole grains. And so early on, I remember it was taking us forever to break through, and we kept thinking, man, I wonder if there's just not enough people that care about healthier eating or whole grains. So I thought, man, I wonder if we had to just make a white flour pancake mix. And so I formulated one, and my brother and I were talking about it, and I remember, we were thinking, should we launch this? And we just kept having second thoughts. And I remember my brother saying, Joel, if we launch this white flour pancake mix, then what does our brand stand for? We're just going to dilute it down, and then we won't have a real strong position that people will know us for. And so one of the best decisions that we ever made was to never launch that product. And we stuck to our guns. We stuck with whole grains as being kind of a real brand pillar for us. And I think you have to do that. And it just took us a while, but we finally kind of figured out how to get a stride and how to get people to hear about Kodiak cakes and how to innovate in the right way and make products that people really loved. And so you can pivot, but you have to make sure that it's not diluting what your core position and differentiation is all about, because sometimes we do copycat strategies, and those are not sustainable. So got to be really careful about and careful about that, and stick to your guns.
I love that. Stay true to what you know, what your value is. Yvette, you have developed new strategies to interact with customers, from virtual shopping to appointment-only hours. How have you developed these new avenues for connection and for sales, and what factors go into the customer experience?
I would say that a key thing with us is listening. As we've gone through this process and wanting to maintain a connection, we started with curbside pickup and contactless delivery, which the customers felt more comfortable with. And frankly, our team was still a little uncertain, about how to have face-to-face contact with people in light of the pandemic. And so having those kinds of things, the curbside pickup allowed us some time to get a little more comfortable with figuring out safe strategies to protect both the staff and our customers. And one of the things in Detroit that's been really, I think, very important is the small business ecosystem and supporting one another. And so our community partners, they were very helpful with pushing out information about our business, what we're doing, what's available, and really being cheerleaders for us. And I would say that one of the comments that we've gotten from a lot of people is that we've been innovative in how we've done things. We've been creative in how we have communicated. And that is something that they find appealing, because I think after a bit of time, there's some fatigue with the level of stress and anxiety that people have been experiencing. So they want to see someone and interact with someone who has a temperament that is calming, nurturing, and caring. And we listen very closely to the kinds of things that our customers tell us that they're interested in. And we kind of position what we share based on what they want. Because it's really about, I think, really our customers and demonstrating love and care, for them. And that really guides a lot of our decisions on what we do. We also do a fair amount of mentoring. During this process, I had an intern who had just graduated from high school, and she was helping me with some social media things and some things as far as product development and creating stories that connect. And in fact, she told me just before she went to college, was that a lot of her other high school friends, they did not have an opportunity to be able to grow, to learn, to experience things in the marketplace. So she was very grateful for the opportunity during this time to still be able to be engaged and to grow and to learn about business. And so we try to figure out how to continue those kinds of things.
That's wonderful, and a way to get back to. I like that mentorship piece a lot. So we have some amazing questions from our audience. Let's just dig right into those. One that I thought was super relevant to even how we are working today virtually, virtual fatigue with employees, with customers. Have you experienced it? What techniques do you have to combat virtual fatigue?
I can take that. I think we've seen some of this, and I think a lot of us are. And I think some of the things that we've done at Kodiak Cakes are just, we've just tried to keep it fun is one thing. So like we do like virtual happy hours. We do virtual fitness classes, like taught by someone that works at Kodiak Cakes. Those are really fun, and people engage with those. We've done like lunch and learns where we've had different speakers come and talk about a subject. And then I think another thing that we've started to do, this depends on where you are, but like we have started to allow some people to come into the office, like people that really want to, and just keep it social distance, have like rules and parameters in place. But a little bit of that has actually gone a long ways. So those are some of the things that we've done.
I like that. Thank you. We all need those lessons for sure. So Hadley, I'm going to direct this question towards you because you spoke about virtual events a little bit earlier, but how do you monetize on virtual events or gatherings? What's your best advice for your virtual events?
Absolutely. I think it's really important to remember with virtual events that even though the platform feels different, you're still providing a great service. So if you have an event service that you're providing virtually, you still need to be paying for it. And remember, on the other side, the business is not paying rental fees. They're not paying for food. They're saving a lot of money by doing an event virtually. And that is money that they can invest in your business and in the time and effort you are doing to create a virtual experience for them. So first and foremost, you have to ask to be paid. That's the most important thing. And then once you get comfortable with kind of a base platform for a virtual event, find interesting little ways to continue to add revenue streams. So we've just started wholesaling little snack items to go along with our virtual wine tastings that we can then mark up quite a bit, actually. And so that becomes an additional revenue stream on top of the wine tasting. We do C-level tastings where we can charge a little bit more than other tastings. So it's always important to think about how to monetize your revenue streams.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It has been an amazing and a fast 30 minutes. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and your secrets to success. We greatly appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.